All right. Is there a scout in here? I don't think there is. This is here. Has it been repaired is the question. Morning, chat.
Hello.
Request for permission for Taurus.
Wait, hold on. Is McNulty on duty? No, he's not. Yes, approved.
And you know what? Even if he was, wrong shift.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's very true.
That's just a J. That's. I mean, he's still. You know, he's still a senior and all.
Yeah, but you know, he had it all day. You know, he can give it up for a while.
Yeah. You have cadets right now, right?
I have Crike, yeah. And then Slacks has Emily and David.
Okay. I'm gonna rapid fire some facts to you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at what I have written down. Went over the roster yesterday. And I was gonna get on duty last night, have a conversation with Slacks, because our situation is pretty dire.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that should just be full officers, if we're being honest.
So let me explain. Do you know that we only have 11 full officers in shift 3?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
And of those 11, 5 of them are pretty much MIA. For example, Iris hasn't really been on duty for the past few weeks, but has returned over the past few days, right? Because I did see Iris. Pinzone barely comes on duty. Roy Mercer barely comes on duty. Drader barely comes on duty. Lorraine Mercer barely comes on duty. And then there's me, Sky, Alice, you, Flop, and Turner. Turner of which is MIA, right?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest
that leaves
example
5
is literally
of us.
Literally everybody that's active in the shift is an FTO.
Yes, yeah, that is the reality, but it gets worse. Okay, so of shift 3 people, right? Again, they're of the 11, 6 are MIA. And then of people who show up more often than not, there's 5 of us, all of which are FTOs. Okay, specifically for FTOs, we have Turner, Flop, you, Alice, Sky, and me. Okay, and then I need to have a conversation with Flop because I ain't never asked him, but I know the remainder of us is burnt out. Okay, so I have written down here, confirmed excessive burnout. All right, as 4 of us, so it's excluding Flop and Turner, but Flop's probably burnt out too. Okay, and then
I mean, he hasn't taken a cadet since I would imagine 2 months ago.
And then for PPOs we have 9. Okay, and then for non-PPOs we have 9 more. There are 18 cadets or 6 FTOs, 4 of which, probably 5 really, are burnt out, and the last one is MIA.
Yeah.
That's bad.
No bueno.
That's bad.
McMahon approached me today about the whole getting properly promoted thing, is because he wants to help. He sees how much stress is being put on us in terms of training and stuff like that, and wants to be able to hopefully take people out in the future.
I mean, I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah. But he's still like technically PPO because
we don't have a process.
Yeah. I mean, even the people, mind you, I don't know what the entire process is on the captain's end of things, but the people that are in other ships that are getting like up for full officer, I don't think there's been any response. Like, I think Suarez, his thing has been up there for like weeks.
Why?
Shrug.
Okay. I'm going to call... Shit, he has cadets. I don't want to derail that. Listen, I need something concrete from Slacks. I need, like, this is what we're doing. Like, I don't want to hear, you know, it's gonna get better. Oh, we're gonna recruit. I need to know specifics. Specifics. I need to know what's happening in the next 24 hours, the next 48 hours, the next fucking week, the next month. I need to know the process at which we can promote somebody to a full officer. I need this ASAP. ASAP. Oh, I see Slacks. No, let me go speak with him. I'll call you back.
All right.
Bye.
That's good. Bye.
Approved.
Perfect. Secondly, question. Would you say that you are burnt out like the rest of us FTOs?
I am completely burnt out at the moment.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I just needed to verify.
Why? How many other people are currently burnt out?
Everyone. I've confirmed with everybody except Turner, who's MIA. So
yeah. So my general consensus right now is that because Turner has not been available, we are next in line for seniors. So I've been taking the brunt of a lot of everything down to interviews. I do not feel like my time on duty has been sufficient to having the time to take cadets in full capacity. I feel bad to say it. I have yet to take a cadet since our last
oh, don't worry. No, listen, I just needed to confirm because I've confirmed with everybody else, and it wasn't a conversation I've had with you yet.
No,
because
that's
I need
fine.
to have a conversation with Slacks where he gets off duty.
100%.
All right,
hey,
perfect. What's up?
Before you go, I'm currently I haven't mentioned it to anyone yet. Don't kill me. But I'm currently riding around with Richard, your honey. He's yelling at me. He wants to say hi to you. Apparently, you ignored his phone call.
No. My phone was off. I didn't ignore his call.
Hey, not dad. His phone was off, so he didn't hear it. He would like to see you. Can I bring him to you?
Yes, but I need to speak with Slacks.
Oh boy. Oh, what about the burnout?
Yeah, I have some like cold hard facts that Can
I be there?
You can.
Because I'm going to tell you something off the record. I have brought up. So, actually, not dad. I'm going to step aside real quick. I need to bring something up to Dad about PD. Give me a second. Oh God, he's crying now. I want you to know something.
What?
So about a month ago, went around to every officer in the PD that I possibly could across all shifts, and I asked them for anonymous opinions about how they felt about things going. And I made a note in this report that I made a command report so every captain could read it, that this is how people feel right now about the PD. And the overall consensus with it was that there was a lot of negative comments. And when I talked to Slacks, I said, you know, it would not hurt to have more FTOs in because we're going to deal with FTO burnout. And his response was, and I quote, well, I haven't heard anybody burning out. I said, yeah, you haven't heard anyone burning out yet. I'm trying to manage that from happening before we have everybody burnt out. And
the
I am
the wick is burnt out. There is no more wick in the candle. The
Yes.
flame is gone.
This is where I'm at right now, because I agree with you, and whatever you're about to tell him, I feel like is about what I've already told Slacks about a month ago, because I warned him that burnout was going to happen and is going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I tried to patch this before it happened, and I'm watching history repeat itself right now. So I'd love to be there for that conversation, because Matt, I tried.
You hate to say it, but you told him so.
I told him so, and I told him because Turner wasn't around. So,
all right. Well, I need to go find Slacks before he goes off duty.
Yeah, go find Slacks. I'm gonna drive down to the PD now, and I'd like to be there for that conversation. So,
all right,
awesome.
Well,
I will see you soon. Bye bye.
Right, bye. Let's grab some stuff from the vending machine while we're waiting. We need to grab some barrack safe snacks and then a bunch of on the go stuff. Okay. Live notification didn't go out? That's strange. Welcome to Twitch. Big true. Big true. Let's go grab a new camera. We need a new watch? I think we do. All right. All right. Now we wait.
So let's probably go.
What was the guy's name yesterday?
Since we're there and stuff like that, but I feel like it would be worth trying to grab it.
Morning, Roach.
Morning.
Yeah, I mean, we should definitely grab it because obviously Jamal did state that he participated in the fight, right? And if his blood is on scene, it would make sense that he bled where he was attacked, right?
Right.
Right.
Let's go figure out how long he's gonna be on duty.
You talk to the EMS next though for sure. Yeah. Talk to the EMS who's involved because I mean they're able to identify her, right? Okay, let's take this car again.
Hey, Slacks.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna park this one so somebody else can use it. Howdy.
How long are you gonna be on duty?
Another 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna need to borrow you for a few minutes. Whenever you have free time. Before you go 42, could you call me?
Yeah, I'll be here. We're gonna go grab some evidence and come back and be sure.
Okay, all right, perfect.
Sure thing.
Hey, Rose, we're gonna go with you after, huh?
Not quite.
Aww.
It's all right. All right, we need all I wrote was pending in the
Do you want
report.
to come with? Well, I mean, they're gonna collect the evidence if we want to talk on the side, or is this gonna be like a conversation for a while?
I don't anticipate it being too long necessarily. But it would definitely be a private conversation.
Sounds good. Okay, then let's go.
Right here. Are these not sorted by date? Is that what I'm seeing? Oh, no, they are. Give me 1 second. I'm just filling out a report from yesterday.
You were all good. I have to fill out too, actually. Thank you for reminding me.
Slacks is going off duty in like 10 minutes. They're going somewhere or something. They'll be back, and then he's gonna have a conversation with me.
Okay. I would like to be there for that. Your husband is currently upstairs. He's not inside. He's just up the ramp here when you go out the
Has he
garage
been
doors.
hired for dispatch yet?
No, I've been trying to fight this case too. I also got real petty. Oh my God.
With who?
Turner.
When?
About a week ago when I conducted an interview, when I was asked, you know, how I felt about this guy, I said, well, I have no relation to him, but I think he's great for dispatch. According to the legislation, he's not my father. I have no bias. So, yeah, he hasn't been hired yet. I don't know why dispatch is still on such a bottleneck, but I think we need it real bad. I think what pisses me off is Dark wants to actually build it up in Shift 3 and actually hire people, interview people. He's the only one proactively available at these hours. I don't know why.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel bad.
Me too.
Well, no. What I'm about to say is, I feel bad for what I'm about to dump on Slacks. But for a brief period of time, it seemed like there was kind of a light at the end of the tunnel, but there isn't. Like, I thought I saw a shadow, which implied there was a light further down, but there isn't.
What are you talking about? Like in general for the PD or like certain
Yeah,
things?
well, specifically for Shift 3. Listen, I've delved into Shift 2 and like post meeting Shift 1, and their numbers for the most part are fine. They really are fine. But when you start to take a deep dive into the Shift 3 roster, which is a skeleton of a skeleton, it's not good. Of the 11 full officers we have, 6 of them are pretty much MIA, don't show up. That leaves 5.
Yeah, I've already had the voice of opinion. I'm going to tell you right now, if you go check...
Let me finish. That leaves 5.
Yeah.
We have 6 FTOs.
And out of the 6, what, 3 or 4 of them are not over it, but are tired?
No, literally 5 of the active officers are all FTOs. Turner would be the 6th.
Oh God.
That means there are no FTOs that are, Oop, is he back? They, I believe, are back.
This is going to be a harsh one, but I think it needs to be brought up. I have I've tried to take as much weight off of Turner's shoulders, but we have been stalemated. So
Yeah, and this is true.
I will back you up with this because I feel like a lot of what you're about to say is a lot of stuff that I preemptively warned the captains about, and I was told, well, no one's talked about burnout yet, so don't worry about it. And I'm like, that's the problem, is you're waiting for the problem. Don't wait for the problem, prepare for it.
All right. I will let him conclude there.
Your husband would like to see you. He's calling me and panicking. Could you just go up and tell him, hey, I'm about to be in a meeting.
Yeah.
You love him or something?
Hey, honey.
Hello, honey.
Honey, I need to give you
Careful.
keys to the
Careful.
house.
That's what I was saying. I want keys for both houses because you're probably living in a pigsty right now. I saw the trash in the yard.
That's because of Reed.
Yeah, I'll sort him out. Don't worry.
Okay, perfect. And you know what? Maybe if we give you keys,
Yeah.
Not if I give him keys first. Dad, you want to live at the house?
maybe.
I live in
How
both
do you feel
houses,
about
okay?
interior decoration?
Oh, I'd love it. Is it hard? Is it expensive?
It is quite expensive. It most definitely can be.
Well, I've got no money.
We can figure that out because you can sort of plan out what you'd like to do, and then we can get the materials to actually build it.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
But
Is it okay?
Rose, I'm gonna get gas. I'll be back. Okay.
Okay, perfect. No, not at all. I'm about to have a meeting with the captain. That captain specifically, regarding the logistical nightmare that is Shift 3. The fact that we are everything is bottlenecked for no reason really. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
oh,
mate.
McMahon, this is my husband. Well, oh, honey, we need to get remarried.
Yeah, I've bloody heard it, but can you introduce me first before you're very rude,
yeah,
man. Come on.
McMahon, this is my husband, Richard.
Hello,
Okay,
how
only
you
I
doing?
get to
Nice
call
to
him
meet you.
Dick.
Nice to meet
He
you.
is my Dick. And
Okay.
honey, this is Liam McMahon.
Yeah, hello.
Liam McMahon. Hello,
Yes,
mate.
sir.
Don't
Hello,
ever say
hello.
that again.
This is
Are
my
you
dick. I
taking
like
care of
that.
my
God
husband?
damn it.
Huh?
He takes care of himself very well.
Yeah, I know he does. It was a test and you passed. All right.
Yeah.
Do you think he's attractive, man?
No, sir.
That's damn right. I like this guy. I like him. What about my son? This one. You know,
Honey,
he's available,
honey.
no, not my son. This is my acquaintance.
Yeah, you're not. Oh, yeah. You're not allowed to say
honey, no. He can be your son, but it's with a U. He's the highlight of your day. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
that. Oh,
he's
good.
my son. He's my
Oh,
son.
nice.
He's my
nice.
son.
Exactly. All right, give me a moment. I'm gonna have to get Barrick to make a key.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, my husband's around. I need a key for the house for him.
Perfect. I have one in my locker in Mission Row, specifically with his name on it. So
Oh,
I'm on
perfect.
the way.
All right, see you soon.
I'll be there soon.
Bye.
Yep. Later.
Really? I could use it. This time of
No,
day, we're
it's just 'cause
fucking.
Connor hasn't been around. That's all.
Oh.
I know it's not his fault, but yeah.
Okay, so Barrick has a spare key for you. It's in his locker.
Oh.
If I end up speaking with the captain and I'm not here, I'll just let Barrick know to give it to you and that you'll be over here.
Okay.
Oh, honey,
right.
I'm
Yeah?
about to ruin Mission Row for you. You ready?
No.
Look,
What
keep
is it?
clear isn't centered.
Ah, that's disgusting. That's disgusting.
I have to point it out to everybody.
Matt, you've
Listen,
seen the
if I
trees
see
at
Why
the
did
end,
you do
right?
this to me?
everyone has to suffer with me.
Oh no.
Yeah, why
See the
is
trees
it
that have been planted out front?
Yeah.
That one still bothers me every time.
Yeah. It be what it be.
That's our cue.
Oh, yep. Hold on.
Whoever let
the
the
fuck
city
would
go to
even do
collapse.
that?
All right. Was that the captain coming back? I'll leave you to it
Yeah.
if that's what's happening.
Yep, I just told Barrick where you are. But
All right.
I'll see you in a
All
bit.
right, Good luck, honey.
Let's go
Hold it
sync that
down.
meeting.
Why would he do this? Does he do this shit to you too?
Got it. Okay.
All right, where do we go? Oh, I'm gonna have an aneurysm. You hear the train?
What's that?
I'm about to have a fucking aneurysm. You don't hear the train?
No, not this time.
Oh my god, I'm gonna die. I'm
Why?
going to die. I'm
Is
the
it a
only one
train
who
or-
hears the train, clearly.
Is it a siren?
Ooh.
Oh, it is. Maybe it's not the
Yeah,
train.
Oh, there you are.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, sorry.
Find out which one it was?
It's got to be this, I think.
And 311.
OS1 has been parked. The siren was on. All right.
It's not a barrack, man. I'm down to fucking help like train. I see these guys are having like, I don't know if I could do some informal shit or what, but these guys
I
feel
mean-
like they.
Almost died. You know, if you can keep giving advice, let them know what's going on, right?
Yeah, okay. I do. I just don't want to. I just don't want to overstep.
That's you.
Okay?
No, I mean, if he's something wrong, then mention it, right?
Yeah. Right.
Did you see Richard?
Is he outside?
Yeah, he's on the underside.
Yeah, his dick is outside.
Yep, that's true.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right,
let's keep
we
it
should.
professional, gentlemen. What's going on?
No,
His name's
his name's Richard. Dick for short.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Where should we go? You know what? I have an idea. This way.
I'm scared.
Yeah, that's how you introduce them.
If you say rooftop, I'm gonna vomit.
No, we're going right down. No,
Ooh. Oh, no.
No, here is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, here is fine.
That's usually where I sleep at sometimes.
This is a very good spot when you think about it.
All right. Go ahead and take a seat here. Slacks, I hate to pull you aside during a shift, but I feel it's completely necessary given the circumstances, because right now shift 3 is just a logistical nightmare.
It truly is. Okay.
And to point that out for context, because I don't just want to say it's a nightmare and then just back away as if that tells you the whole story, because it doesn't.
Okay.
So for context, right now we have 11 full officers in shift 3, right? However, of those 11, 6 of them are, for all intents and purposes, MIA. Right? Our roster, as it stands for full officers, is Iris, who has been MIA for weeks with the exception of the past few days. Pinzone, who barely shows up for work. Roy Mercer barely shows up for work.
I don't
Gage
think I'll forget
Drader
Roy.
barely shows up for work. Lorraine Mercer barely shows up for work. Then there's myself, who shows up daily. There is Sky, who shows up more often than not. There's Alice, that shows up more often than not. There's Barrick, that shows up every single day. There's Flop, that shows up every single day. And then there's Turner, who is on an LOA. right? So for all intents and purposes, there are 5 full
Yeah, that's rough.
officers.
That is rough. What you just said right there.
But hear me out, because I'm gonna go deeper than just that, because it is important that a captain understands the current state of shift 3, because like I said, it needs to be said, and people need to be made aware, because right now it is not good. And when I say it's not good, shift 3 is at its breaking point, truthfully. Sorry, truthfully. Okay, so taking all of that into account, right? Of the shift 3 people who are, again, for all intents and purposes, MIA, there's 6 of them. Okay, we are essentially a skeleton of a skeleton crew, which then leaves there to be 5 individuals who show up more often than not, almost on a daily basis for the majority of us, right? Despite that, we have 6 FTOs, and I've spoken to every single one of them, with the exception of Turner, who again is on an LOA, understandable. Every single FTO is burnt out. Again, with the exception of Turner, because I was unable to speak to Turner. But I've asked every single one. Everyone is burnt out. Most of which occurred even prior to FTOing. Most of it just stemmed from excessive burnout due to just a severe lack of help for the first couple months. And right now, as it stands, we have 9 PPOs. We have 9 just full-on non-PPO cadets at the moment. So there's a total of 18 cadets for 6 FTOs, 5 of which are burnt out. And the last one is on leave. And there is no light at the end of the tunnel. For a brief moment, it seemed like we saw a shadow, which implied that there was a light in the distance, but there isn't. And then I'm like, given that, I'm gonna be real. It is very difficult to do our job on a daily basis with the
100%.
resources that we currently have.
I believe you. I mean, you need 25 plus cops at least to have some sort of wiggle room to do your job without worrying about back to back to back to back to back.
So as it stands, again, given all of that, I also feel it necessary to point out that I have previously been told that there's essentially a negative stigma, essentially against the old guard, if you will, is how it was worded to me. And the people who FTO, I want to make this clear specifically for shift 3. I can't speak on behalf of other shifts. But specifically for shift 3, and the people who show up every single day, I cannot stress the importance of pointing this out. That consists of Flop Dugong, Eric Johnson, Alice Watson, Sky Faye, and myself. Right? Do you know what we all have in common?
Old guard.
Mm-hmm. And despite the negative stigma, we still show up every single day. We are trying to fight through the burnout every single day. We've asked questions in the past that have gone unanswered. Right now, we are at least trying to push the process forward in regards to getting PPOs pushed up to full officer. We were told we'd have an answer a few days ago that still has yet to happen.
Yes. So, absolutely. Absolutely. As far as what you're talking about, I mean, the concerns I've had a week ago that I thought we're going to get just this weekend, but, unfortunate things do happen. And Turner being an LOA does, slow things down. It creates a bit of a bottleneck. But right now, I'm going to step in and try to help out with that, because I spoke with Captain Ruth about it earlier today. And as far as promotions, pushing people to PPO and officer promotions and senior officer promotions and getting more people involved, I think we want to get the ball rolling on that this week and try to push people out the door so we can start freeing things up and give you guys more freedom. Now, as far as the stigma of the old guard, I personally don't ever see it that way. I don't look at the past or I don't look at the new. I want somebody who fits the culture we're trying to build in the PD. I want somebody who has a good attitude, is a good person, and has good values.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's good to hear. However, the point sort of still stands in that right now we do not have the bandwidth available to train every one of these new cadets. And I see that you're helping. I see that you took 2 FTOs. But anytime any of us are taking FTOs or cadets rather, we're doubling up just about every single time, without fail, sort of over and over and over. And it's very rough. A lot of these people, I don't really know what level of experience they stated they previously had. But I don't know if it's just like, now sometimes throughout high school, you'd learn equations in math and then summer fucking happens and you come back and you don't remember any of it. I don't know if they had one of those moments. But some of them are most definitely a little rough. And I hate to be the person to offer, or not offer, but point out problems without solutions. But in my opinion, there needs to be a severe heavy focus on people with experience, because again, we do not have the bandwidth to deal with cadets. We have
I understand
3
what you're saying,
times the amount of cadets as we have FTOs. And again, of the 6 FTOs, 1 is on leave. The remainder of the 5 are at their breaking point. Because every one of us has been here practically from the very beginning. Every one of us was subjected to being on duty with 2 officers, dealing with 7 senior bun stabbings over the course of 3 hours, writing down statements for hours on end. And ultimately, with he said, she said, it is what it is. But then obviously the training portion came after, and the skeleton of the skeleton crew is not skeleton enough to deal with everything. So my question for you is, because I just need to know what's going to happen in the near future regarding what is going to be done in the next few days, what's going to be done in the next week, what's going to be done in the next month to help out with the problem that we're having here in Shift 3. Because again...
Well, a couple of things, right? We need obviously, we need to promote one more senior within Shift 3 to help out with just leadership in general, right? That's 1. 2, these PPOs need to promote to an officer and see if we can get some of these officers that got promoted PPO to see if they're interested in helping with FTO and to allow more FTOs to enter the FTO program, to give more space and have more people be taken out so those people can get trained, because the biggest bottleneck is training, right? But at the same time, I see your point. It'd be a lot easier to train somebody with a lot of experience than somebody who's basically green and fresh to it, right? So I think the main focus for Shift 3, then, if that's the case, is to bring folks with previous experience. But also keep in mind, those folks, they still got to just, to buy into what we're trying to do. Because what I've been noticing in a bit in Shift 1, Shift 2, when I patrol, is some folks that do come with experience, they have a hard time, unwrapping the past as far as what they had done previously. And a lot of it is just muscle memory, and they go back to it. And as a result, they're messing up on the streets, or they're doing things the wrong way, or they're escalating too much, or they don't understand what to do because they're not used to dealing with something that is a bit different.
I mean, that makes sense. Old habits die hard. There's no denying that. But at the same time, not that I necessarily want to say, what the lesser of 2 evils are, because I'm not really in the position to be pointing out which of 2 options are worse. But I genuinely, if we don't do something like ASAP, it's rough.
I believe you. I believe you. There needs to be a sense of urgency for sure. Because like I said, we're at the make or break point right now. Because if we don't try to tip things our direction, then we're gonna get buried and we'll never recover from this for months.
Slacks, I'm be real with you. I don't know if Turner ever had a conversation with you regarding me. He had asked me to FTO. I told him I'd consider, and the day that I inquired about being an FTO, he was like, well, why do you want to do it? I explained, and he's like, well, where do you see yourself in 4 months, 6 months, 8 months? And I said, right now, I can't tell you. I can't, in the tunnel that we're in, I can't see if we're going in the right direction because there's no light. I don't know where the exit is. It is complete darkness. There's nothing. I pretty much said, ask me in a month or two. It's been a month, and truthfully, I still don't have that answer given the current state. I think a lot of other shifts, both 1 and 2, at least have a relatively active roster, especially referencing the skeleton crew.
Right,
But
right. And
shift 3, on the other hand, not so much. Not even close.
exactly. And like you said, it sounded like it was set, doomed to fail from the beginning, because when you have half the skeleton crew not showing up, who's going to pick up the slack? Right? And that's a problem. And that's a big problem. And shift 3 it's a hard shift to recruit for. It really is. Right? But at the same time, like you said, I think we should probably lean on the folks with experience for time being. Bring folks with experience, a couple shifts in the FTO, and then push them out the door with PPO. That's something I want to propose for shift 3. Maybe bring 5, 6 guys at a time. See if we can get them out there. That way it gives you guys more room to have folks that can respond to calls, help you out. The S77.
Absolutely.
All right. And
But the most important thing is maintain the standard. That's always been the challenge, right? Is how do we bring more, but maintain that quality?
Well, okay. Counterpoint to that: how can we maintain any level of quality if we're unable to do our job just because of a logistical nightmare at the moment?
Right. I mean, like I said, I see both sides, right?
Right. I mean, so here, I think my biggest concern is that, like, in the past, it's sort of been brought up in passing, and we were told, recruitment's going to be done, and that's great. But to be clear, hiring is not a bottleneck. Training is, right? I can't stress that enough. We can hire 1 million people. We can't train 1 million people. And so, do you have an ETA, like a rough estimate even of when we can start promoting PPOs to full officers, or what that process?
Let's. I mean, the process was Turner was supposed to go through it. So when it comes to PPOs getting promoted, right? What happens is, y'all put them up for vote, right? As far as that PPO, and when they get promoted to PPO, and then they are good to go at day 30, and there's good feedback on that person, a sergeant looks at it and says, "Okay, this person is ready for an officer. Let's promote him. Let's do a little ceremony."
Okay,
or
I'm
something like that.
I'm gonna need you to roll that back, because although that rank exists in our chain of command, it does not practically exist.
Correct. Like I said, right now, seniors are acting basically like sergeants, right? And then they're kind of in between the captains, right?
Yes. Slackson, be real. I'm gonna be very real with you, and like I said, I hate to drop all this on you.
No.
Right now, there are the 3 pillars of the police department, which are the 3 captains, pretty much for the most part, 1 in each shift. It has been a little over 2 months, and there has been very little delegation. I think y'all need to start putting people in positions to be doing stuff for you, so that the entirety of the police department doesn't fall on the shoulders of 3 people. Because right now, our police department's a little wonky with 1 of the captains missing, which, again, I totally understand why, right? Personal reasons and such, but it doesn't really change the fact that the police department's a little wonky right now, tilted in one direction because somebody's missing. And even if he wasn't missing, this situation doesn't really change in the slightest, because at the end of the day, we would have 1 additional FTO, but that doesn't help with anything. And, like, I believe it was Barrick reached out regarding what the official process is going to be, because, again, we need to be promoting people in shift 3 because we don't have people. We need, McMahon's a great example, right? He's inquiring about FTOing, but we don't even have any directive. We have no direction for him because we haven't gotten that response yet. And we're trying to resolve the issue, but we can't.
And I understand what you're saying. Because if Turner was here, this would not be an issue because we can just knock it out right away, right? And that's where kind of like the bottleneck is, like you said, right? As far as delegation, I mean, in shift 2, and I'll speak on my personal experience, I even let FTOs do their interviews and take the sergeant orals to hire folks as far as, and then have me be the last person to talk to them. I've been doing a lot of delegation to FTOs, seniors, and other officers within the PD. So if I can give a task to somebody, I can do it. Hey, take care of it. I got plenty of things on my plate. Now, as far as sergeants and lieutenants and everything going on in the future, right? What I'm proposing here is obviously guidelines for the chief of police and sheriff election. Now, when those folks come in, it would probably be more appropriate if they pick their command as part of their PD.
Wait, so what are you saying that is that like something that you're saying is coming?
Yes.
In the future?
Yeah, I would imagine hopefully soon. I can't put a timeline on it soon, but hopefully soon.
Did you say sheriff?
And chief.
Okay.
Okay. While I am not opposed to there being a separate department, historically there always has been. I don't know that the timing of that sounds correct. That sounds like it'll destabilize whatever remnants of a department that there is here. If there's already a shift in like, I don't know about that.
I mean, Rhodes, when I say hopefully soon, maybe a month.
I mean, at this rate, in a month, we're still gonna have 16 cadets.
I see what he's saying though. Like, while it will cripple certain things to an extent, it will also provide like the liberty for things to like free flow, and for whoever is put in those positions to like properly set things up, I guess.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, Rhodes.
Things forward.
I mean, I don't disagree with you said Rhodes, because the mayor and the city council have brought this up to me multiple times, and I've told them we're not ready. So this discussion started 2 weeks ago.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think the police department is ready for any sort of major shift like that. But the reality here is, if there's an expectation that things are going to change once that happens, whatever those changes could potentially be can happen prior to, right? Hypothetical, complete hypothetical here. But let's say Cornwood were to be a sheriff, right? And Cornwood decides, you know, I want this person to be a lieutenant. I want this person to be a sergeant. I want this person to be a senior, right? Those things could happen right now in the current roster.
Right, but correct, right. But here's the thing, though. Who's voting for him? Shouldn't it be the police department?
Well, here's the thing. For me, that's irrelevant. What I'm saying is, if that could happen post, election, if you will, then it could also happen prior to, could it not? What I'm saying here is that the opportunity exists right now that people who are deserving of it could be a sergeant, could be a lieutenant, and at least fill the ranks for the police. There really isn't a chain of command. I say that not in like a very literal way.
There's no
actually
command.
I do exactly. It's a chain of command, but it literally goes from recruit, cadet, officer, senior, no sergeant, no lieutenant, captain. And the two command positions, being sergeant and lieutenant, being unfilled is a little rough, because when I asked you, what are we doing in regards to promoting people to full officer, your almost verbatim response was a sergeant will decide on that. But again,
no. I told you the process that we have written down, the SOPs, as far as how everything kind of built up, right? How everything's built up is for the future, right? As far as when you have something in place. So if you read the SOPs as far as that and the FTO handbook, it has sergeant stated in there taking these roles, but I'm saying right now we're delegating to seniors. Now we're delegating to other folks.
Well, hold on. There's two seniors here. I don't want to cause drama or anything, but were either of you two seniors informed that y'all were essentially the equivalent of sergeants and sort of had the ability to make these decisions?
Verbatim, no, but it's been implied.
Yeah, I kind of gathered it as an unspoken thing.
You're not.
Since we had access to.
You're not a
like,
sergeant, but you're filling the roles of a sergeant.
Yeah. And this is
okay.
This is if I might suggest, a temporary fix to our problem of Turner being, missing and on LOA. If you do choose to promote a third person to senior, let the three of us essentially vote and decide on things in Turner's absence until he returns. Let the three of us decide who gets promoted, who's chosen as FTO until Turner returns. That way we still have some kind of, way to go about things properly. And obviously we would still push things past you and Ruth as a final, thumbs up, or even like just email him at the very least. Just give us, because, the state of things we can talk about for hours standing down here. And ultimately, not much will come of it, in my opinion. But that is my temporary solution to our problem.
I understand. Okay. I mean,
because
I
is
recommend
great having you here. Obviously, everybody loves having you around during this time, but you shouldn't be required to be here because, like, we're having issues or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm helping out, right?
Yeah.
I'm a placeholder for time being, trying to help out, right? Now, what you said, I don't see an issue with it. Just make a command report and vote on things as far as what you want to see in Shift 3 or changes or FTOs or recommendations or promotions, right? Now, there is somebody who the seniors talked about, and this was supposed to be somebody promoted last week, like I said.
Turner told us about it.
Right. It's Alice Watson, right? And she could be plugged into the mix as well to help out with things that need to be dealt with as far as Shift 3, right? And you three could be the pillars, like you said, of trying to lead Shift 3 and trying to make sure that things are on top, things are moving along. Now, as far as what we talked about from the PPOs to officers, let's knock this one out now, right? And then let's work on the system you said to where you vote on things till Turner gets back.
I would.
That was essentially all that I'm asking for, like a temporary band-aid, so that we can actually get people from PPO to officer while Turner is.
Yeah, just vote on it. Just vote on it.
Yeah.
Go through them, vote on it, and promote them only if there's good feedback, of course. Obviously, if there's any negative feedback, hold off.
So, essentially, when the Alice thing does happen, herself, myself, and Flop will converge and discuss about certain like promotions, whether it be PPO to officer, officer to FTO, and make a commander report about it, and then it will be signed off by one of you, essentially.
I can tell you for a fact, command reports are the best way we can communicate right now, especially since we don't see each other often.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, that's promising. That's definitely promising in the grand scheme of things. It is, as of now, the only sort of like concrete, like, we're giving you some level of autonomy. And I say this as just an officer. I'm not a senior. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. But looking at everything and how everything was going, like I said, I hate to sort of derail you going off duty, but it's a conversation that needed to be had because there is not a single one of us in this room who saw the light at the end of the tunnel, because we are kind of like shut down every step of the way.
Rose, I'm glad we had this conversation. That's how I feel. I think that I believe in good feedback like this. Regardless if it's bad or good, it needs to be heard, right? And it's part of listening. And I'm all for delegation. At the end of the day, I'm not sure. I don't think the captains want to just, hog any power at the top. It's more of just making sure that it's being, fed in a way to where it's not overwhelming. It's nothing too crazy, and we're on the same page. And that's all it comes down to is communication, right?
Yeah, and nobody. I don't want you to think that anybody here. We're not we're not trying to complain. We're not trying to bitch and moan about this, that, and the other, because I think probably everybody sitting here or in this circle has been through worse. But we know that in examples like a day or two ago, when a majority of us just, coincidentally decided to not get on shift for the day, like there was nobody on duty, and at most like one or two.
Yeah.
And all that we're asking is, like, as somebody that has been very passionate about this shift and trying to fix essentially the everlasting issue of trying to maintain proper unit numbers during the shift so that we can properly police and properly patrol the city. It's like mopping up the ocean. But at the same time, each and every one of us is still going to get up every day and get after it and try and fix the problem. And all that we were essentially asking for was just a little bit of help so that we can continue to push things along.
1,000%. If there's any times you ever feel that way, if there's things you want to bring up, my door is always open. So let's have the conversation.
Perfect.
Let's figure out the problems. Let's knock out these PPOs right now. I mean, I'm right here. Let's go through them, and we can start promoting some folks. I don't have to be the promotion. I can just say yes, and then y'all can do it whenever you see this person.
Okay.
Are you referring to a push from PPO to full officer, or are you referring to... Okay. I mean...
I think we all have 2 names at the minimum that we could probably all recommend.
I mean, at minimum, I have...
The reality is, I think most people that are PPOs are fit for full officer currently.
Who's not fit to be an officer from the PPO phase right now?
Currently, I'd say not Brixton, just because he's been a bit inactive a little bit since he became PPO, and Frost because he became PPO like literally 2 or 3 days ago.
I'm also going to note this in, and Barrick, I won't say too much, but the other officer that we wrote that report for yesterday, should we wait until that's all said and done before proposing and pushing?
Yeah, I mean, we can just we can just talk to him about it right now. Like,
okay, yeah, that's fine.
I think most of us would agree that Forte is capable of doing
what did you just do,
officer. But as far as whether or not that actually happens, I know Ruth made note that everything to do with him is going to go through you two for the time being. So I guess we'll leave that up in the air. But Desmond Troy, Clover Fields, Lucas Lavender, Selena is another thing I never really
was gonna bring
gotten
that
to
up.
talk to Turner about because it's kind of
I'm gonna bring that up right now. Actually, I'm just gonna lay this
ahead.
out. I do not feel it is within any of the FTO's ability or responsibility to do updates on Selena currently. If you go look at her FTO report, or PPO report, I should say, it is empty, and I am the one that was responsible. Last I heard, she was taking a week away from shift 3, and she has yet to return back to shift 3 outside the meeting. Now,
I had a thing with her just the other day. I even put feedback.
Did you?
The 17th, 4 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I spoke with her. Rhodes spoke with Selena regarding radio communications as she had failed to provide a proper location when announcing somebody had been stabbed, to the point at which Rhodes had to break her communication to tell her to let us know exactly where we needed to be. She was literally giving a full-on description, practically said 78s without letting us know where, is essentially what happened. Had a conversation with her regarding it, though.
I gotcha. The point I'm getting at is that Selena is primarily shift 2 at this point, and none of us really know where Selena's place is. But we trained and built her up in shift 3 to work for our shift. And when she got PPO, she practically went straight to shift 2. And she spends about an hour in shift 3 before she goes 42.
What do you recommend here?
Well, every interview I've conducted for Turner, I have asked a question, and Barrick has been witness to it. I have asked everybody, if you are interviewing for shift 3, you will understand that you are being hired for shift 3. Is that correct? Yes. When you are able to, if you make it to the point of PPO and you have more freedoms, you are primarily focusing on training in the shift that you are being hired for, correct? Yes. and I've said okay each time. I think moving forward to avoid, and I don't want to, how do I say this? I don't want to make Selena, I guess, quote unquote,